Hi, thank you for watching my video. I'm Minnie and I've lived in Japan for over 20 years. In my previous video, I talked about my personal experience with Japanese school friendships, and I got a comment from a viewer asking, do you have any friends from other countries? And if so, do you think it's easier to be friends with foreigners? So in today's video, I want to share my thoughts on that based on my experience of making international friends here in Japan. I'm going to break this down into three parts. First, how I met my international friends. Second, how those friendships feel different from Japanese friendships. Third, I will answer some other questions I received from other viewers. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to read my script and talk at the same time. And before I get into the main topics, I would like to answer the question right away. Do I have friends from other countries? Yes, I do. Do I think it's easier to be friends with foreigners? Yes, personally, I do think so. Yeah, so these are my answers, and let's move on. So, first of all, I used to have a lot of friends from Europe, other Western countries, and also from different parts of Asia. I met most of them through university. They were exchange students studying in Japan, and I was one of the local Japanese students they became friends with. Many of them wanted to practice and improve their Japanese, and at the same time, I wanted to practice speaking English more. So naturally, we ended up speaking in English a lot and spending more time together. Because of that, I spent a lot of time with European and Western friends during university. So that was the first part, how I met my international friends here. So let's move on to the second part. So the second part is the difference between Japanese friendships and friendships with international people. In my last video, I talked about the hierarchy system in Japanese schools. Basically, if you don't fit the Japanese beauty standard, or if you are not outgoing person, like personality, it's really easy to get left out. That's what I experienced, and it really shaped how I see friendships here. But after I started making international friends, I noticed a big difference. I realized that appearance doesn't matter as much. It's more about who you are as a person. Things like being respectful, but also being honest and sharing your opinions. So let me give you an example. Imagine, um, imagine if you are going out to eat with your friends and they ask you, what do you feel like eating? In a typical Japanese friend group, it's common to say something like, anything is fine, you guys can pick. And even if they say, no, 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 it's your choice today, you might still say, I don't know, let me think. Sometimes conversations with Japanese people can feel a bit repetitive or stuck, like they don't move forward. Even when it's something simple like choosing a place to eat, it can take a while. I mentioned earlier, Japanese culture is very sontaku based, which means people try to read each other's feelings and avoid being too direct. So, making a clear personal decision can sometimes feel rude in Japanese culture. That's why when you ask Japanese friends, what do you want to eat? They often say, I don't know, you can pick, you can choose, I don't mind. By saying that, they are kind of leaving the decision up to you, not because they really want you to choose, because they don't want to take the lead themselves. But with international friends, it's completely different. They are usually more direct about what they want to do, so it's much easier to make plans together. And I don't feel hesitate to share my own opinions with them either. What I really enjoyed was being able to talk about all kinds of topics like Japanese culture, their culture, our experiences, and even future plans after studying abroad in Japan. Those conversations helped us build a deeper relationship, and I really appreciated being able to hear their advice, especially when I was studying to figure out what I wanted to do after graduating from university. You can definitely talk to Japanese friends about your future plan or other serious personal topics. They will listen kindly and respectfully, and they will give you their full attention. But most of the time, they won't really share their own opinions or give you advice. It's more about just listening rather than helping you take action or make a decision. Another thing I've noticed is that when you ask Japanese people about their future, like what they want to do or what their plans are, they often just say something like, I don't know, or I will just find a job and see what happens. That's it. It feels like many of them don't have a clear goal or strong ambition, and that really stood out to me. That's also why I find it hard to have deep conversations with them. They don't give specific opinions, and they often don't even have their own direction. So I'm left thinking, how am I supposed to keep this conversation going with Japanese people? So here's a quick comparison between international friends and Japanese friends based on my experience. International friends tend to be more outgoing, open minded, and honest. They are not afraid to share their opinions, and conversations often feel more direct and expressive. Japanese friends, on the other hand, are usually more respectful and thoughtful, but when it comes to serious conversation, they often hesitate to share their personal opinions. They listen, but they don't always open up or give feedback. So that was the part two, the difference between Japanese friendships and friendships with foreigner people. So the third part is the questions from other viewers. I got two other questions. So first question is, did you learn English from an English person from England? So my answer is, I actually started learning English with an American accent. Later on, I lived in Australia for a couple years, so my accent got kind of mixed. Basically, I didn't learn English specifically from a British person, um, but I'm not exactly sure what the viewers meant by the question. Maybe they were asking about my accent as well. When I checked my English accent using AI, it said that my accent was Japanese, but some of my international friends have told me that I don't really sound that Japanese when I speak English. So I just hope my English sounds clear and easier to understand compared to how Japanese people are usually expected to speak English. So that's the story. So the second question is, how was high school romance in Japan? Did guys confess to girls? Okay, so my answer is yes. That's actually pretty common in Japan. Even today, a lot of young people still follow this traditional way of starting relationships. There are a lot of popular TV shows in Japan where famous or well known teenagers go on trips with boys and try to find a partner. It's kind of like a teenage version of The Bachelor, and it's become really popular here in Japan recently. Also, they don't just start casual dating like in many Western countries. If someone has a crush, they might ask the person to go on a date, but before becoming an official couple, there is almost always a confession, what we call kokuhaku. It's when one person clearly says something like, I like you, will you be my partner? Sounds like you give a proposal to your partner. So that's how they do it before they start dating or becoming an official couple. So yes, confession still a big part of Japanese high school romance. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe my channel. And if you have any questions or thoughts about what I shared, feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you again and see you next time. Bye.